Hey, it's me, Pat. I originally called this deciding on the big six mains because I took math class more than anyone else I know because of remedial classes. It's actually which 9 characters are your mains. I'm gonna explain. I'm not a diamond yet because I'm still learning, but I've looked to the future and I have 2 thoughts, which is 2 more than I usually have. 1. I think the band system should be around a bit earlier than Diamond, but I'm sure there are studies that say Diamond is the best place for that so that people don't get forced into learning too much or something, being overwhelmed by the number of choices, and there is a lot to learn even if you're just looking at a single character, so there's that. And 2 is that I want to be ready when I get there, if I get there. I don't want to go there and end up losing because I repeatedly got locked into making mistakes that I could have avoided because I know what I was getting into. And that's important to prepare for, I think, because of the roguelite mistake, which is a mistake I make a lot when I play roguelites like Isaac or whatever. Roguelites, as a refresher, are games with meta progression and generally random drops every run. You start from a base character and you build up each time you go, so every run is different depending on what drops the game gives you. The skill in playing those games revolves around game knowledge and knowing what build to go for, and the mistake is going into a roguelite already dreaming committing to a build before seeing your first item. You end up ignoring the items you see or the builds you can make, or even just playing suboptimally because you want to play this one thing from the very start, something that the game might not have had any chance of giving you at all. The Marvel Rivals expression of this is like insta-locking. I am here to play Psylocke and the rest of you can go to hell. It can also be going in with a specific mindset. I am going to dive. That is what I want to do. And you do that, regardless of what the opposing comp is, what comp you have, or funny third reason. Personally, I think the mindset to avoid this is to not say I want to play Iron Fist or Bucky, or not think that I want to snipe today. I think the proper mindset is I want to play Marvel Rivals. Does that sound crazy? Let me know in the comments below. All of this to say that I am picking 9 mains, 3 for each type of hero. 3 because I choose a hero to play in a match depending on one of 3 attributes. The first attribute is that it is the meta. If you want to win or at least do well, being able to play meta picks when appropriate is critical, I think. The only real barrier when picking a meta pick to focus on is that X factor, that special sauce. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how strong a character is if it just isn't appealing to you to play, if it isn't fun for you to play. And if it isn't fun for me to play, what are we even doing here? But what that X factor is varies from person to person. Like how some people goon pick in games, which I do, just not in public.
Well, why are you handing me this? What is this, more trash?
Better be a written apology. Let's see this. Oh, look how big you are.
Oh, this is very nice. Hey, we gotta get this framed.
Because I'm a hypocrite. Now, think about Spider-Man. I think he's fun. I like the gameplay loop of him. It's just that I don't think I have the twitch and, more importantly, the inclination to learn him just yet. In terms of my understanding in the game and how I want to play, Spider-Man simply is not within that wheelhouse. That all said, I know that metas can shift due to patches and general understanding of the game and mechanics vis-a-vis Wolverine. A meta character was just the easiest way to refer to a generally understood character that does well. The thing is, if a character is generally understood, then there is guidance and advice about them that can be found, making them easier to learn. The second trait is the support a meta pick. This is a character that helps out a commonly picked character. I think that if I cannot play at my best, I may as well play the best I can while simultaneously helping someone on the team do better. Keep in mind that this is not a literal team-up, not necessarily just someone that works well, like Luna for Namor, Venom for Spider-Man, Thor for Captain America, or Storm, or something, I don't know. Lastly, of course, there's the me pick. The character I pick when I'm not sure who to pick for whatever reason, so I'll go with the most comfortable option. The one that I pick if the first 2 aren't available for whatever reason. While for some roles I feel I can play all of them, largely because there are hardly any vanguards and most of them deck people in the face, I feel the need to focus on a few first, so that I can force myself to develop a solid understanding of a few characters. But of course now we must define what does solid understanding mean To me, it's knowing a few common but niche interactions with that character, and internalizing it to the point of it being natural. Like say, for Luna, knowing which character ults can be countered and the timing of the counter. Or for Moon Knight, knowing the left-click, right-click combo. Once I internalize that, I might look at another character, but for now, I will stick with these 3 per role. So, there we have it, at least 3 characters per role. I don't need to be perfect at any of them, I just need to be competent and fulfill the role that the team needs me to do. Let's get started with the 3 roles. Vanguard. Come on, man, we need more. But anyway, the meta pick, Doctor Strange.
I unleash the Vishanti's power!
I'm sorry, first of all, it's Vax from Critical Role, which, nice. Second of all, he's got everything you want in a tank. A shield but doesn't have a cooldown on it. I'm looking at you, Cap. What the hell? He's also got a lot of fun melee cancels, like primary into melee to cancel recovery frames, melee to cancel the last 25% of the reload animation, that sort of thing. It's a really fun timing minigame for me. That he has a sort of kill combo on supports, primary melee into explosion is a lot of fun, and I think is just really neat. We support a meta pick, Thor.
The Wrath of Asgard!
I want to say Venom, I really do, but something about the wall crawling controls drives me insane. Instead, I'll bring the Thor. The spider people don't get their team up, but they get a Thor who has a slow and suddenly can become ranged with Awakening Rune. He also has the Fud Fud Rhythm, which is 2 swings and then an ability. And he's got Lightning Confinement, which can give him Awakening Rune again. Suddenly, you're still shooting the backline and they're very sad. Additionally, I find him very effective, at least at the ranks I'm at peeling Wolverine off our other tanks and providing support to backline squishies. Sometimes the place you should be diving into is your own backline. I think he's my weakest tank since he's more of a brawler than an actual defender, but he's a lot of fun. I like brawling with the other tank, tagging Awakening Rune, and then slipping past him to start hitting the support. Or the strategist. The me pick is Magneto.
You need not fear.
I really like Magneto. You don't understand. He is my jam and has been my jam forever. I bought the Battle Pass because it came with King Magnus, the Marvel Rivals version of House of M. And I love his gameplay. It's so simple, but man, he's all about execution. You're not there to have flashy combos that build into other things. You protect. Someone dives, they get a shield. Or getting thrown at your team, you decide who lives with your shield. Diver, toss a knockback at them. Block the Punisher, hassle Star-Lord, be the Krakoan leader that Charles wishes he could be. Show Xavier that the dream has grown beyond him and must have a new leader. Duelist, Meta, Bucky.
Armed and dangerous!
I originally started learning Psylocke and I still kind of am, but Bucky feels like the most relevant investment. More consistently relevant, at least. He has a pull, a knockdown, or a knockback rather, a reload whenever he uses things, a actual sky knockdown with his E, and a war crime for a primary weapon that when a raccoon buffs it up, it feels like I shouldn't be shooting this much. Niche skills include knowing which combos work on which health levels, and learning when to turn to pull people into your team. Near as I can figure, it's turn when you hear your pull click, like and then they get pulled into where you're facing. We support a meta pick, Namor.
A king like Namor.
Namor is a anti-dive option and one that can also occasionally flank with his, float. He can split the attention with a quick toss of the tentacles and supports Luna and your backline in general because, hey, those divers need to think about what's happening to them. Also his name, really fun to say, Namor. If I could roll my R's, I would have more fun saying his name. Unlike many other heroes in the Marvel Rivals, Namor is very heavy on the aim, so I need to learn the skill shots with him and the timing of his abilities and, generally tossing the squid where it needs to be. Anyway, the personal pick, the me pick, Psylocke.
Watch me soar!
For reasons. Very, very good reasons. Look, I was a precocious kid, and that sprite from Children of the Atom, lived in my head rent-free before the terms rent-free existed. Well, hers and Spiral's, but, for a different reason. With primary fire cancel dash control, ult timing, she's got a lot of options. Her ult is unpredictable, I know, and often unreliable. Unless you know what you're doing, which I don't yet. But considering her kit, I feel like that's an okay trade. She's also a lot of fun to play. Strategists, or strategists if you're wooing. The meta option for me is any one of them, literally. Ahaha! I'm just kidding, I run Luna.
It's the grand finale.
Because she's simple. Kind of. Simple, but doesn't mean like not complicated. Which I guess it does. Anyway, clap. Counter with the longest support ult so far. Freeze Spider-Man. Get ready to put on a show. There's still a lot to learn, though. Where I get lost right now is when to ult when I'm not countering a specific ultimate on the other team. Although I think there's always something to counter, but I swear sometimes I look at an enemy comp and think, I got nothing to do here, I'll just ult whenever. Which could be some light brain damage talking. Oh, what are you gonna do? When I was in support prison, I played Luna, like all the time, which is fine. Funnily enough, I learned about Luna countering ults from in-game chat. I messed up an ult, they said L ult, and told me that I could counter Storm's ult. We still lost, but I learned. So, she ended up being my meta main. The support A meta pick, Raccoon.
Ready to get your yarn on?
This was tough to pick, but I think it's the correct call. It supports Punisher, gives a mobile res, and has a damage buff. Sometimes you want more heal, and then I go either to Luna or to the me pick. There's a lot to learn, but mostly for me, it's getting a feel for when to start shooting more than I am healing. I mean, right-click Raccoon Bot, yes, that's the meme. You can make it to high ranks by just right-clicking and not fulfilling your entire purpose as a strategist for a bit. The me pick, Cloak and Dagger.
Us against the world.
Originally, this slot was for Adam Warlock, but Adam Warlock is not a dedicated healer, which is fine. Not all strategists are supposed to be healers. That's why they're called strategists. He is powerful, but since I solo queue most of the time, I think Cloak and Dagger is a better call, at least for the first few characters that I'm really gonna learn. I think the niche skill to learn for them is timing Cloak's vanish to protect from ults. It's a little harder to defend with ults. Using that, I find, weirdly enough, using Luna's Ice Ball easier, but it's still a critical skill that I want to learn. Also getting a feel for where to lay down the ult path, and learning how to charge the ult really fast. Final notes, all of this has led me to realize just how much free time I have. Also, side note, it was hard to stick to one character a slot. I really like the game. And every character scratches a different itch. Like how Penny gives me the urge to become a homemaker, or how I can play Black Widow if I hate everybody on my team. So I mean, I'll play those other characters too, but you know, they won't be in my back pocket in ranked, at least not for a while. I also understand that this system ain't perfect. This isn't supposed to give me a 100% win rate. You gotta do this broken strat. And no, that's not what I'm here to do. Sometimes you'll just run into a game where the team needs something and you can't give it, or it's not yours to give. That happens, and I'm okay with it, and I will deal with it emotionally like an adult. That is to say, it'll feel bad when I know a specific character can be a better counter to the enemy or a better complement to the team, and I don't have the skill for it. But I think long term, this is a better way to approach the game for me. Once I get a working understanding of the characters in the list, I can try another one until I internalize more and more, and I have a working roster. That said, I also don't know if I'm going to keep track of my personal development, or rather, I don't know if I'm going to make a war journal of public growth. But, you know, this is my plan for playing Marvel Rivals. What's yours? Thanks for watching. Thanks for passing by. I truly appreciate it. And hey, if you haven't yet subscribed, I think I'm doing alright. But with your sub here or on Twitch, I think I can do better. I am Patinator. Let's do better.